So today we're talking about the divine spark. And I love doing this talk because there's visual aids. And it also, you know how that is. You also learn a little bit more when you can see things, when you have the solid physical example. So what I'm holding in my hand, for those of you, it's kind of small in the back. This is a Zippo, good old traditional Zippo lighter. Okay. In and of itself, when it's in your pocket, when it's in your purse, you're just carrying it around, it's in, the little cubby in your car, whatever it is, it doesn't do anything on its own, right? In and of itself, it is pure potential. It has the potential to, whatever you do with a lighter. I hope that none of you are smokers. If you are, you're quitting. Your health in mind. But you know what you can do with a lighter. So pure potential, it does nothing in and of itself. It is filled with potential, a potential that can be refilled again and again and again. And we have to take an action to refill it, right? Come back around to that. Here we go. Nothing happens until we take action. And I know that flame might be a little hard to see on the camera, but if you think about your life, you got to take some action. We are all pure potential. We are the divine potential. Every single moment of every day. It doesn't turn off and it doesn't turn on. It is in there. It is through us. It is as us. And so we are the ones, that's why we're in human form. We're here to do something with it. Not to sit like a bump on a log. We are here to do something with that potential. I see some smiling faces like, oh, what? I'm not supposed to just sit? No, you're not supposed to just sit. Sitting in meditation, yes, is great. And even in sitting in meditation, you have to take some action. Because the whole idea of sitting in meditation is you're sitting there waiting to get some instructions, right? You get quiet, you get still so that you can hear, what's my next step? And we go, oh, yeah, there's the next step. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. There's a couple of people that know what that's like, right? So when you think about this lighter and pure potential and the fuel in there that fires it, and we take the action, this little beautiful little round flint that creates the spark, consider that flint spiritual law, spiritual principle. In other words, it doesn't matter who puts their thumb on this thing and flicks it, right? The law will do what it does. We give it the instruction. The law says, okay, here you go. Rock and roll. The flame comes out. We have to take that step. That's our job. That's our job here in human form, right? So you got this thing going on and the flame's out and it's like, yay, I could go over, I'm not going to do it. I could set this piece of paper on fire. I could light a candle. I could start a campfire to cook with. I could start a fire in the fireplace to keep warm with. All of those things that we have once we take the action, we have all of this power to do something with. You'll notice, of course, that there is a lid. We can put that out. We can choose to do that, and there's good times when we do that. And when we do that is when we rest, when we meditate. We don't want to burn out completely, so we put the lid on it, right? The other part of this, though, however, is we often tell ourselves a lot of things. We've often been told a lot of things growing up, that we aren't divine, that we don't have potential, we don't have spark. And either we put our own lid on and put our own flame out, or we let other people do it for us. I see some nodding heads about that. There was a young man many years ago who started school. And the teacher sent home a letter to his parents and said, sorry, y'all, this guy he's just not going to do it. He has no potential. He has no intelligence. He has no nothing. He didn't learn to speak until the age, not learn to speak, he didn't speak until he was 4 years old. And they said, he's too stupid to learn anything. Thank goodness his parents didn't put the lid on him. His name was Albert Einstein. They believed in him enough that he believed in himself to keep going forward, to dive into, not, and I love that sign on the door, the crazy ones who do things differently, outside of the box, right? He had people around him that sparked something in him, that saw the potential, that saw the genius in him, that allowed him to move forward into being one of the, if not one of the greatest minds in that we know of. All the stuff that he thought of. He didn't put the lid on it. There was another young man, the same thing. They said he's not going to amount to much. He might be successful based on his agreeable personality. He had some potential as he was a nice guy, basically, and they said at a young age, he's not smart enough to do anything. And over 2,000 patents to his name, Thomas Edison didn't let somebody put the light out, and you can use the pun and the metaphor of the thousands of times that he tried different things in order to get us to the incandescent light bulb. And not just that, but he was the guy with the Westinghouse and the whole thing that gave us the grid that we're now all trying to get off of. Right? There was a young woman who early in her career in television as a newscaster in Chicago was demoted from her job because, as it said on her demotion, she was not fit for television. And all these years later, because this person had some people around her, enough people around her, and kept people around her to believe in her potential, for her to believe in her own potential, that Oprah Winfrey is now the most influential woman in the world. So you see where I'm going with this. Every one of you, the potential is in us in every moment, in every day. Yeah. And we get those inspired moments. We get, as we refill our juice, to keep fired up. And as you know, with one of these things too, you can overfill them, and they'll leak out all over the place, and it gets messy, and it's all that kind of stuff. We can do that too, and I don't mean that in a bad way. We can, as I was talking about, when we're sitting in meditation, we sit and we sit and we sit. Oh, give me an answer, give me a sign, give me the next piece of the puzzle, and it's always coming to us, not just, as you know, in meditation, but in action in life. When you are out in the world, you hear a conversation, you see a billboard, you hear a song, somebody says something in passing. That information is coming to us all the time, not just in our meditation. We are getting filled up through our five senses. That's why we were given those five senses. Not just to have that experience of, wow, it's all coming in all the time. Our brains are taking it in all the time. And I love how many of you remember the Far Side cartoons? One of my favorite ones is you see the kid sitting in class, and the kid's got his hand up and he says, "May I be excused, my brain is full." And it can feel that way sometimes. It can feel like a lot of stuff coming at us, right? We have to do something with it. We have to process it. We have to move that energy through us, because what? We are all energy. That's all we are. Some of us a little speedier energy than others. Some of us a little more dense than others. So we can get overfilled by I want to take in, but we've got to move it. We've got to move the energy around. We've got to take the action step to put that potential into form. And the thing is, as I spoke about this earlier, was all of these people that I talked about. Michael Jordan, who was dropped from his high school basketball team. Yeah. Got kicked off the basketball team because he just wasn't good enough. And he went home and he sobbed, and then he turned around and he said, I'm going to do something with this. Instead of letting this defeat me, and I'm going to take the support that I'm getting from my family. And I'm going to find that spark in myself to let it fire me. And I'm going to do something with it every day. I'm going to practice. I'm going to train. I'm going to play basketball. Every single one of these people, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Oprah Winfrey, all of them, they didn't take the first defeat. They didn't, anybody else. And this last person that was mentioned with a letter that went home with him, thank goodness his mother kept it in a drawer. That's how we know this happened, because it's a historical document. The teacher sent a letter home and said, he got it. Benjamin Franklin, okay? All of the things that he invented, all of the things that he was involved with in our system of democracy, in social stuff, in inventions, in just thinking, electricity, those outside of the box people. And I'm fair enough to say, like I said, I think most of the people in this room are probably the same way. We have moved away from a lot of what we were told when we were younger. Personally, I don't know about the rest of you, I am a recovering Catholic. A lot of nods and a lot of, coming to this point in my life where I can stand up here without fear of getting struck by lightning and say, I'm divine. Yeah. So we can't do this alone. We have to take in those that we find along the way, our coaches, our spiritual leaders, our ministers, our spiritual counselors, those that are showing us the way. There's another way to think about this. We can look to them to say, yeah, you did it too. I transformed my life from that, from living in fear of everything and living in guilt about everything and stuff that I didn't even think to even want to do. I felt guilty about, okay? That's just the way that I was taught. So yes, absolutely. So one of the things that I want to show, another visual aid, and I love this part of the program. This thing is called an energy stick. How many of you know what this is? You've seen them, okay. Don't give it away. Cindy, I'm going to ask you to come up and demonstrate. We are made of pure energy. What's inside of this little tube, there's metal on both ends. And because we are static electricity all the time. We are energy beings. So what she's going to do, she's going to demonstrate. Just go ahead and show you how this works. Put your other hand on that. When you grab those ends, there is no battery anywhere in this thing. She is the battery. She is the potential. She's the electrical potential, right? Okay? So when she puts her hand on that, put your other hand on that. There you go. Creates the circuit. It lights up. It makes noise. Angel, I'm going to have you come up, and I don't know your two names. Would you come up, just be my lovely assistants for this morning? So what you guys are going to do is you're going to stand in a circle and hold hands. Let me get out of the way here. Yeah. So, yeah. Angel, you're going to put your right hand on that end. Cindy's going to put her left hand on that, and you two are going to hold hands. Okay? Hold it up so they can see. Let go of your hand here. Put your hands back together. Isn't that cool? So, visual aid, right? Thank you, lovely assistants. So what this means is we can, we've got our own potential, we've got our light within us. We can light that thing up, right? But when you think about going outside of that, and I've done this in a room, I've seen this done in a room where there are 40 or more people in a circle, and it doesn't lose any power. Because we have the energy within us. We are that divine energy, that divine flow. And as soon as we break the circuit, it stops. So not only do we need that divine spark from other people to remind us that we are divine, that we have that potential within us, we need to be that for each other. We need to be that for other people. In coaching, we call it being a person of increase. And what that means is that kindness, the kindness that we so need in the world today. Letting somebody merge in traffic with you. Opening the door for somebody. Paying it forward at a coffee shop every now and then. It's not about fireworks shining your light. It's about the kindness that is just right there in your heart all the time. We know this inherently. We know this thing, it's called love. It's called love. It is our job not only to light our own spark on that lighter, move that energy through, but to do it for each other and connect and see that connection. So I invite you, as we move into meditation, quickly to just go into that place of remembering the spark that you are, and being that spark for one another.